Out of the 34 attackers in Rainbow Six Siege, there are 5 good flex operators that you need to start playing for Year 8 Season 3. With that out of the way, let's get straight into the video. Coming into my number 5 spot is going to be Zero. Zero is great for flank watch, and it gets even better if you're playing with a team. In solo queue, it's unreliable to expect your teammates to watch your flank cams for you. But if you have comms with people you queue with, they can watch your flank cams, making him very effective. Other than that one stipulation though, he's a great operator for solo queue as well. He has great weapons, a Gon 6, hard breaching charges for any hatches you may need to get, and he also brings a unique weapon that has a 1.5 times scope or a 2x scope depending on what you like to run. This gun specifically has high damage with little recoil and is great for holding angles because of its low fire rate. Zero's potential is great on bigger maps like Bank, Chalet, Theme Park, where you can easily hide his cameras, making him a great operator for the flex role and for solo queue players in general. Generally speaking, it is said that most flank watch operators are just in the flex role because they're not necessarily meant to frag, they're not necessarily meant to support, they're kind of just in the middle. So that is why I consider Zero to be a flex operator, but a great one at that as well. Zero also has a taser on his camera, allowing him to get any electronic gadgets that are in the vicinity of his camera, but also it makes it to where you can get default cameras that may be looking at your Zero camera, pinging it, or watching where you're pushing if you're pushing it near where your Zero camera is. Not only does he have 1 to 2 of these cameras, not 3, but he has 4 Zero cameras that he can hide around the map, which is especially lethal and very overpowered on big maps, again, like Bank, Chalet, and Theme Park, where you can easily hide his cameras. The ability to not only destroy electronic abilities with his primary utility, but to destroy bulletproof utilities with his Gon 6 is a great pair. Not only can he destroy these 2 types of utilities, but he can also destroy reinforcements with his hard breaching charges. So he can literally destroy every single type of gadget or surface in the entirety of Rainbow Six Siege, which is why he's so flexible, which is why he's a flex operator and why he's such a good flex operator at that. Coming into my number 4 spot is Flores. We're in a meta with a lot of bulletproof utility right now. These include, but are not limited to, Azami, deployable shields, Fenrir devices, barbed wire, and much more. Flores can completely counter all of these with ease. He also has a 1.5 times scope, which is very helpful in this meta where everyone's just running 1.5 times scopes, swinging everything and running at you. He has all of this meta utility and a 1.5, so why is he only in the number 4 spot? The reason for this being is that the new attacker, who just got teased to be a droning operator on the recording of this video, just came out. Now there's 4 unique drones on attack, which is going to be heavily incentivizing defending players to be running Mute, to be running Mozzie, which hard counters Flores completely. I believe these 2 Flores counters are going to be in the meta so much, especially in the beginning of the new season, because people are going to be playing the new operator. That's why he's just in the number 4 spot and not really anything higher. Still, in my top 5 is one of the best flex operators in the game, but nothing compared to what's coming next. And trust me, you're going to want to stick to the end because the number 1 is going to shock you. Coming into my number 3 spot is Buck. Buck is by far the best vertical play operator in the entire game right now. Now, yes, Sledge does have grenades, but that's literally the only thing he has that is better than Buck. You might even say that Sledge's AR has more damage than Buck, but if you equip the extended barrel on Buck, that's not even the case. And like I said about 1.5 times scopes, Buck has one of these on a great AR, allowing him to easily fit into the current meta that we're in with great utility to go alongside it. Even then, if you want that bulletproof destructibility that comes on Sledge with his grenades, you can bring Buck's Gon 6 and do the same thing. But also, you have Burn with his flashes, making getting shields even easier with Buck than it would be with Sledge. Sledge is also riskier to play on the vert because he has to get up close with his gadget, putting him closer to a potential nitro cell that he has to run away from. He's also a slow 3 armor, so if he had to run away from a nitro cell, it's a lot harder for him to do so because he's slower. Buck is also able to do multi-level vert, meaning he can play vertically through multiple surfaces, whether it be through 2 floors, a floor and a wall and a floor, whatever it may be, because his ability is at a range. This makes him even safer from potential nitros. He also has hard breaching charges. So if you need to play vert, but you also need to get the hatches that are above, he can do this all in one operator. This is crucial for a good solo queue operator because most of the times your teammates can't be trusted to do their job and get the hatches if they're playing a Habana, if they have hard breaching charges. So being able to do this all in one operator is so powerful. Most of all, Buck can also play vertically below sight, which is something that no other vertical play operator can do, giving him an advantage over Sledge yet again. He's also, because he has a range on his gadget, allowed to play on top of hard surfaces while also destroying soft surfaces, meaning he can't get nitro from below. So he's super safe from nitro cells. This is great for high level play when there's a lot of pulse, a lot of Valkyrie, and a lot of people that are just throwing nitros at the sound of footsteps, but it's also great for lower elo when you're trying to learn how to dodge C4s and find Valkyrie cameras for the first time because it's so much safer. Coming into my number 2 spot is going to be Lion. Lion is a complete utility powerhouse. Not even going over his main ability and how good that thing is, let's go over everything else. His primary weapon options are great, with an outstanding DMR or his assault rifle, boasting 50 rounds, no recoil, high damage, and an assortment of scopes including the Meta 1.5 and the 2x of your choosing. His secondary weapon, the Gon 6, allows you to destroy bulletproof utility as well, which we talked about on Buck and on Flores being super good, especially paired up with flash grenades, which, guess what? Lion also has. If you don't want that though, he has the even better options of EMP grenades. He can open walls and play as a support, then uses Lion skins to push in, get kills, and plant. He can also bring flash grenades and uses Lion skins to get kills or roam clear. Either way, he's able to assort himself to many different playstyles that you might want to play as, making him very flexible and by definition a good flex operator. Speaking of scanning with his ability, let's go over his primary ability, which is actually the best part of his loadout, believe it or not. The cool thing about this ability is that it has a low skill floor and a high skill ceiling. At the very least, you can randomly scan 3 times throughout the entire round and you will get some semi-usefulness out of him, whether because they have to stand still or give you or your teammates free pings. If you get good with him though, the potential of his ability is super high. Like I said, he has a high skill ceiling. You can use his ability to get free kills, roam clear, plant the bomb, stop the defusing process, delay defender rotations, zone defenders, create pushes, and so much more. Lion is absolutely ridiculous, and that is why he is in my number 2 spot. Now, before I go over my number 1 spot, I'm gonna go over 2 honorable mentions that are still good, and maybe you were hoping to see on the list, but didn't quite make the cut for top 5. My first one is Gridlock. Now, if you're an avid fan of the channel, you know that I love me some damn Gridlock, I tell you what. But the only bad thing about her is she's unfortunately really map specific, meaning you can only get insane value on her with certain maps. Otherwise, she's almost useless. There's really no in between. Here's an example. Villa, she's amazing. Chalet, she's terrible. With Gridlock, like I said, there's 0 in between, and that's why I couldn't, in good faith, put her in the top 5. My second honorable mention is Capitao. He unfortunately suffers from the same previously mentioned issue that Gridlock does, where he's map and even site dependent on if he can be lethal or not. Now, it's not as harsh as it is with Gridlock, but it's still the same premise more or less. His utility is often underwhelming as well, especially for solo queue players, and that's why I couldn't put him in my top 5, especially compared to the number 1 operator that is just absolutely insane that I'm going to go over right now. With the honorable mentions out of the way, let's go over the number 1 flex operator you need to play for Year 8 Season 3, and that is Dokkaebi. Dokkaebi is so good, and the fact that she's the most banned this season that she's ever been proves this point quite well. She has everything that I mentioned that Lion has. EMPs, Gon 6, or flashes, depending on what you want to bring, great ability, etc. But she brings even more. Dokkaebi has one of the best roam clearing mechanics in the entire game of Siege. She shines on smaller maps because she allows you to hear roamers within close proximity to get easy kills, but also that's not even the good part about her ability. Not only is this part of her ability wildly powerful, but once she gets a kill on the roam clear, her ability gets actually good. She is then able to hack the phone dropped by the defender, and then she's able to get the entire defending arsenal of cameras. Like, I think overall, just with that, her ability and her as an operator is just crazy powerful, and so is the rest of her kit like we talked about. She has one minor issue worth mentioning though, and that is her primary DMR. DMR is great, but only if you are great at it. Chances are, if you're not good at it, or you're on console, maybe you're just new to the game, Dokkaebi's DMR is often enough to shy you and most players away from the operator. If this is the case though, I would then switch Lion and Dokkaebi on this list for you for a more accurate rating to your realistic best operator for you and your playstyle and what's going to get you wins. Let me know what you think of my top 5 down below, and let me know of any operators that you thought should have made the cut. With that out of the way, that is it for the entire video. Check out this video where I go over why Gridlock is so good, in case you're wondering more about her, because I mentioned her in my honorable mentions list. And that's it for the entire video. I'm Thaqil, and I'll see you on the next one. Later.